What is up, guys? I have dreamed of making this video for a very long time. Today we are starting to put this Suzuki 500 street bike engine into this, a 1990s Carter go-kart. This is gonna be a lot of fun. Okay, let's go over the idea for this. I want it to be as cheap as possible and look great. I don't want it to look like all the go-karts on Facebook Marketplace with the pigeon crap welds and all that garbage. I want this thing to look factory, and I want to do it on the cheap. It's gonna be so much fun, and it's gonna be sick, and it's gonna go so fast. Alright, so first thing on the checklist, we have to get this engine running and driving. But these carburetors are full of rust. There's no fuel getting through there. So I'm gonna pop them off, clean them up, chuck them back on, and hopefully we can get it started and running and driving. Alright, so we're out here, very dirty. A bolt broke off there. A jet broke off down there. Try to clean it as best as I can, and then JB weld that jet back together, and hopefully it'll run. Alright, so we got the carbs nice and clean on the outside, got them cleaned on the inside. Now I had this bolt snap off, I put a new one in there, and then also this jet snapped off, so we JB welded it. And hopefully that holds. Tomorrow I'm gonna come back, finish putting it back together, chuck it on the bike. Hopefully the bike runs. So it runs, but it doesn't rev. So, I'm guessing it's probably a vacuum leak or something somewhere, hopefully. So I'm gonna do a little bit more troubleshooting and try to get this thing to run better. Okay, well I did a little bit of troubleshooting, and there's a vacuum line that if I put my thumb over, it seems to run better and it'll actually rev. But I'm gonna start it up for you guys and see, you guys can see what it's like. So it'll only start with the choke all the way on. So it kind of runs, but it doesn't run quite right. There's, I think, a lot of other vacuum lines and stuff that has to be gone over. But I think it runs good enough for me to start pulling the engine out of it and doing some stuff. Alright, it's the next day. I was doing a little bit of thinking, and dual carburetors suck so bad. Like having to tune these things, having to clean them. These ones really aren't any good because that jet broke off. And these suckers cost $400. I don't want to spend that kind of money. So I was talking to my dad, and he suggested we make our own intake. They come off the two intake boots here, go into one pipe, and then we just put one singular carburetor on there. Big old carburetor, just one of them, so we don't have to mess with all that dual carburetor junk. I don't want to have to deal with that. So what we'll do is I'm going to go ahead and drop the engine out of the go-kart and start taking some measurements to figure out how we're gonna fit this Suzuki sports bike in there. All right, go-kart's in the shop. Let's drop the engine out of this thing. All right, engine is out. That sucked so much. That was really hard. It's out, luckily, finally. I'm gonna take some pictures of it, and I'm gonna list it up on Facebook Marketplace. Try to get it gone, try to get a little bit of money for it, because I don't want it, I don't need it anymore. Now, I'm gonna go home, but tomorrow I'm gonna come back out here and I'm going to measure this all up. I'm going to figure out how I'm gonna make my brackets, and we'll probably also try to get the engine out of the bike. Okay, well, it's 2 days later, and I have decided to just go ahead and pull the engine out of this, and then we will start mocking it up into the bike. This is gonna suck so bad, but let's get it done. Okay, well, the engine's out, and that sucked so much. Sucked so much. Basically, that bracket right there comes off to make the engine easier to come out, and they put little mounting brackets right in the way, so you can't get it out. You have to tweak the engine all these certain ways, and it won't come out. And in the end, I just cut the bracket off, and then the engine fell right out. So, I'm done. I'm going to go have lunch. I'm going to come back, try to fit it into the go-kart, and we'll go from there. Okay, we're back out here after lunch. I'm going to go ahead and pull it into the other part of the shop where the welder is and everything. And I'm going to pop the gas tank off and then cut this roll cage thing off that the original motor sat in, because I'm not going to need it. And I'm going to figure out some brackets and try to get this thing mounted in there, hopefully today. That would be kind of nice. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Alright, so I forgot to film this all yesterday, but basically I got that cage chopped off and it all ground down really nicely. And also what I've done is, on the sports bike, the sprocket is on the left side of the engine. And on the go-kart, the sprocket was on the right side. So I took this axle, I flipped it around, and now the sprocket's on the right side. And now I'm just have to figure out how in the world I'm gonna get this engine sitting in there straight and at the right level and all of that. Hey, back out here with the bike, I also forgot to film this yesterday. I have cut the cradle part of this engine, like engine bay. I've cut the cradle off of it, and I've put it back onto the motor. See, cut it off there, and I've bolted it kind of back on the motor. I'm going to build all of my mounts off of this cradle. So, I'm going to bolt it all together really tightly, and then I'm going to take it off the engine, I think, and then see how it's going to fit in there. And yeah, I don't know how I'm going to do this really though, because that engine weighs as much as I do. So I'm going to try to figure this out. It's going to be really complicated, but it'll make sense once I show you. Hey guys, this might make a little bit more sense here. This is the cradle that's going to hold the engine, okay? So let's talk about logistics here. So it has to be lined up right with the sprocket when the motor's inside the cradle. And it can't be the motor can't be too high, or otherwise the chain won't be able to go onto the sprocket. And this axle can't be too close to the engine, otherwise it's gonna, rub against the engine. And what I am noticing is this engine is very big once you put it in here. And if I were to cut this bar out, drop it to the height it needed to be, that is how far the engine would be into the cab. And you'd have no room to sit and drive. Like, that's barely any room. You'd be super cramped. And I can't move this axle too far back with the way it is right now. Otherwise it's gonna hit this, and there's gonna be a lot of things just hitting. So this is gonna require a lot more modification than I'd ever thought. Because I'm dumb. But I think what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to chop this off right here and here, bring the axle back to like almost here, maybe even farther, extend these, and then make like a cage like this so that I can get the rotor missing, the cross member, and like the sprocket and stuff. So this is gonna be a lot more than I thought, because I didn't realize that that engine was so incredibly huge until I sat that cradle in there. So that's where we're sitting right now. Okay guys, this is going to be the end of this video. I like to keep my videos short, and I think we've made a lot of progress this week. We've got the engine running, we've got both engines ripped out, and we have an idea of what we need to do. It's going to be a lot more work than I thought, which sounds stupid, but I didn't realize how big this engine was and how much space it's going to take up. So I'm going to have to make some pretty major frame modifications, but I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully by next video, I will have the engine in it, and yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward so much to welding all the frame together. But it's going to be next video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Go check out the other videos if you want to. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more of this. And yeah, this thing's going to be so much fun. But until next time, I'm just that 81 Camaro kid. Even though we're not working on a Camaro today, peace out. Love you guys. See you next time.